What is up, guys and gals? This is Brandoncoin back with another how-to basics video. If you haven't already watched one of these, this is my new series where I'm going to go in depth on basically how to do anything and everything that's involved with building a computer, especially related to mining. I am geared towards miners. If you want to watch more of these, the easiest way to find them is over on my website, brandonco.in. That website will be down below in the description, or brandoncoinmining.com. They both redirect to the same website. But for today, we're actually, this is how to install a graphics card. Right here in front of me, I have a GTX 1060 6GB. And by the way, these videos are like literally gonna be from the basics. So please, guys, from the last one, there was a lot of people like, we don't need these videos. But I have a gaggle full of emails and text messages and stuff like that that shows that there is a demand for the videos, and if you don't need them, then you don't have to watch them. This is just for the people that do need them and have something to refer to, and you never know, you may find something that you didn't know in here. So yeah, but guys, this is going to be how to install a graphics card onto basically any modern PC, and this will also cross over to a motherboard or a mining setup. So we have a GTX 1060 6GB right here. Whenever you look at a graphics card, you need to look at a couple things right off the bat. So the first thing on the bottom, you need to make sure this has this slot. This is a PCI Express slot. It's a dead giveaway because if you look at the back, it's got this little hook, and then if you look at the front, it's got one slot right here. There were some older interfaces for old cards like AGP and regular PCI, or just regular PCI slot, but not a PCI Express. Anyway, all that stuff, none of those cards are going to be good for mining, so you want to make sure it's PCI Express and it matches up similar to that. It's not going to be hard to do. Almost everything is like that nowadays. The next thing you need to do is look at the top of the card, the back of the card. Most cards will need additional power. So if you see this one right here, this is a 6-pin. So that tells me this card's going to need additional power. It needs a 6-pin. The different kind of plugs that they are going to offer, there are 8-pin plugs, which is basically a 6-pin on your motherboard, and it'll have another 2 little pins beside it. Let me see if I can actually drag one of those over here and show you guys. Let me turn the camera. Alright, so here is a 6-pin plug right here. See, if you look at that, we got 6 pins on there. And then beside it is another 2 pins. So any good power supply is going to have PCI Express additional powers like this. So it's 6-pin, or you can put it in the little notch together, and then now it's an 8-pin plug. And that is absolutely 100% safe to use on your 6-pin or your 8-pin graphics cards, the ones that need that. So when you get into bigger graphics cards, for example, they're going to need more power. I have one right here that's a perfect example. This is a GTX 1080 Ti, I almost dropped it, and it needs an 8-pin right here and then a 6-pin right there. You got to be careful to plug it in exactly like that, and it's a dead giveaway because you can see where they're separated right there in the middle. Some people have jammed plugs down in there to try to make it work. If you have to jam it down in there, it's not right. These should be able to plug in and snap pretty easily. So just note that. So now that you know about the actual graphics cards, what to look for the slot and what to look for power, then you can actually go over to your computer. So this is going to be installing it on a standard tower case. So if we have our case right here, let me turn the camera around. This is my Raid Max case, but this would apply to almost 99% of the cases out there on the market. You're going to want to remove what I call the driver's side or left side cover, because most cases are going to have the motherboard mounted in this configuration. Some are different, don't get me wrong, but remove that left panel after you get the left panel off, and typically the left panel is just held on with screws. If we turn this around, the left panel is typically held on with screws in the back. Normally one will be at the top, and then one will, watch out for my kitty, one will be at the bottom. You pull those screws out, and then you can actually slide the panel back. See how it's got these little slits right there? The panel normally slides back and then comes off. Like I said, this isn't exact for every single situation. My cat's running off with the screws, but this is how it's set up for this one. Alright, now what I like to do is go ahead and lay your computer over. Make sure you do it on something that's smooth and isn't going to scratch it all up on the other side. But we're going to lay it over and take a look down in there. Most computers bought from a box store, especially if they're going to be cheaper, they're not going to have a graphics card installed, but you may already have one. So if you have one in there, this is how you're going to check it. Look, right here is going to be your CPU, obviously. This is your RAM. And then below the CPU, near the back of the case where all these ribs are and the open parts, this is what it looks like on the back. Obviously they're going to be covered up normally, but there's going to be these slots. Obviously this motherboard's probably got more slots than yours, but the one you need to look out for is the big slot, the one that matches your graphics card. It's got the little divider in the front, and then also normally they'll have a clip in the back, maybe a little retention clip that comes over from the side. That's always, you know, a little different on every manufacturer, but there's going to be some way to clip the back of that little graphics card on the back side of the actual slot. So now what you need to do is figure out which open ports do you need to have to install the card. This motherboard has removable. You just take a screwdriver, you pop that screw out, and then you can remove this port, this port. Obviously all these ports can come out. Some motherboards you actually have to bend the metal to pop it loose. It's just held on by a couple little metal tabs. So you need to go ahead and drop the graphics card in there. Obviously kind of get it lined up just to figure out which ports it's going to cover. Obviously I already have my ports open, so yeah, it's going to take up those two right there. And make sure to please remove whatever ports, because sometimes some graphics cards will be flat on one side and have a display port or something sticking out on the other. Don't leave anything covering the actual graphics card, because it needs that for airflow also. This one has the holes in it, but a lot of times the motherboards or the cases don't, and it's just flat metal. You're going to need all the airflow you're going to want to get. So after you get that popped out and you're ready to actually drop the graphics card in, make sure to get that and get it lined up down below. And all you got to do is lightly, let me see if I can show you right here. Get it lined up. Make sure that clip is faced back so it can't actually drop in there. See, it's right there, and then just barely push it in there, and it will actually should go all the way down and make sure it's seated. Some of them will clip. This motherboard actually doesn't look like it actually has a clip. Just pull this up and then it's locked in. So, alright, now it's locked in. It can't come out. Make sure it's even from front to back. That means it is all the way down. And the next thing you'll want to do before you start powering on your system is you got to plug in that additional power. So on my setup, my power supply has additional power right here. So we'll go ahead and plug that in. Obviously the 6-pin is going to have a clip on it. You just need to look and see where the actual clip is on the side of the plug. You'll see mine is right there. So clip to clip, it will slide down on there and clip on. And when I did that, it rocked the graphics card, so it's not necessarily 100% seated. So I will push it back down, make sure it's 100% seated, and then we need to secure the bracket on the front. Especially if this is going to be on a daily driver system. Obviously for a mining rig, it won't need to be this in depth. On a mining rig, normally this will be about as far as you go. Some frames actually have a little metal bracket where these will sit, but I'm going to take these screws and screw this graphics card down, and we're going to be good to go. So now we have the display ports for this graphics card up, and we're installed. And that's all it is to it to actually install your graphics card, guys. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, you can jump over to the YouTube, or obviously we have our Discord, email me, anything like that. And if you have any recommendations for upcoming how-to basic videos, please just drop it in the comments. Send me an email, anything. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching. This is Brandon on Brandoncoin, and I'll see you on the next one.